Okay. Hi, welcome to Silent Podcast, where we're anything but silent. I'm here today, your host, Josiane with Vancha's crew, also with Janelle, and our second evicted house guest, Donna. Donna, how are you today?
Oh man, the door hit me on the way out. A little sore over here, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I'm so excited to talk to you. By the way, you slayed. First of all, the fits were giving, the face card was giving. So I had to hype you up a little bit. But I wanted to
Thank
talk
you.
to you mainly about your alliances. So we saw you really invest your time in Big Sisters. Obviously, there was some support from the East Coast, whether it's an alliance or not, it's still debatable. But
Honestly, hey, who knows?
who knows? But who were your priorities in the house truly? Like who were your top three?
Yeah, so if I had to pick like top three, like if all alliances went to shit in the fan, I'm gonna take these people's back. It is Bailey, Todd, Dennis, and at the time Spicy V. So that sucks for me.
Um,
Yeah. I was curious because I know you're a super fan. What did you think when you saw the All Stars? Had you seen their seasons and what was your game plan? Like when you started to process that they were actually going to be playing with you?
Yeah, no, if anything, I watched both of their seasons. Obviously, Anthony was in there to final two, so I knew more about him. And as soon as they told us like you get to pick an entourage, I'm like, well, if I learned anything from Anthony, if you're his enemy, you're going out sooner than later. So I joined his team to protect myself. If anything spicy, I was like, okay, I'll connect with her more on like a girl to girl level. But Anthony, if you're not on his team, he sees there's a threat. He's a great talker. I want to be the one he's protecting at this point. So to save myself, I was like, I'm going over there.
Okay.
I'm glad that we talked about Anthony because I feel like your relationship kind of changed. I think we saw you in the beginning be very close with him during his HOH reign, and then obviously there were conversations with you and Bailey about targeting him during week
Yeah,
two. So what do
sure.
you think was the switch?
I felt an energy shift from him. I swear to God. Like I felt like we were close. And then the big sister thing happened, and he also tried to extend an olive branch to work with him. But I was loyal to the soil of my big sister group. I put in the girls first, obviously. And no, I can't like talk game with you, Anthony. Like I tried to, but we naturally did drift. But then I felt like because I once I picked up on his tactic, I'm like, aha, like he is gonna be a smooth talker. I think he recognized that I was onto him. So our energy was completely different. We barely talked at all. And if we did, it was like in group settings. And yeah, like it definitely did switch. I 100% back that up. Let me tell you.
I'm curious what you thought about the goodbye messages, specifically the ones from Lexus and Spicy. Did that give you like any insight? Did it change your perspective on anything?
Sure, yeah. Like Spicy, I was like, damn, why didn't I put it together that her and the only other all-star would not be working together? Like why didn't I think that? So I was like, you know what, you kind of got me for sure. But I also think she should have kept me till jury. Hello, I would have voted for you against him. Like you should have kept me longer. The Lexus thing, I was disappointed to see her message kind of have that like soury tone. Because if I was in her shoes, I would have been like, like maybe we didn't get along the best in this game, like, but I want to work in a really like, I would like to see something on the outside. That she said, I forget what she said, it was something sassy, and I was like, shit, like, what did I do? Like
Yeah.
nothing against her or anything, but like maybe she was putting up the sassy flair for the exit. I don't know. Who knows?
I think time will tell. Or if you catch up, you'll see what
She's
the
definitely someone I would go out with though, like and have fun. I think it's just we were both like two different types of people, and with her, I feel like we would have been friends in 6 months versus like in 2 weeks, Like it
Mhm.
takes time. But
Right.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking about the alliance between Anthony and Victoria, I'm curious, what did she do or what did they do to kind of make it seem like they weren't really working together? Because you said that you
Sure.
didn't put two and two together. So I'm curious what was put in
Yeah.
place to put that at
Yeah,
ease.
so Spicy did a really good job at telling the girls, like, I don't know where Anthony's head's at. He keeps ignoring me, he keeps blowing me off. I'm really disrespected by him right now. Like, she played it up. Like, she was making me eat out of her hand with those lies. Yeah, like basically, like, and then I noticed the second week when she gets HOH, why is Anthony always up there now? So then I was like, I didn't even think they were working together. I thought he was trying to run her HOH, and I felt bad for her. Well, meanwhile, I'm the one getting plotted against. Crazy.
Okay, I'm curious, who are you rooting for? Who do you think's playing the best game? And who do you think's playing the worst game?
Okay, I'm definitely rooting for my top three, which is Bailey, Todd, and Dennis, because they have my back. But even before that vote, I knew I could count on them.
Mhm.
And who do I think is playing the best game? Um, I would say on that, but I don't think it's going to be a long game. I think like she's playing a great game right now, but she's going to get caught in her web of lies with the girls. They're smart girls. They're going to catch on soon when everything this the group keeps getting smaller. If everything they're saying here still ends up going to Dougie, they're going to put it together. We're not talking to him. It has to be her. But who do I want to see to win? And who do I think is like gonna make top two? I think Anthony will actually get to final two again because he's so good with his words. But I think Dennis will be right there beside him if he's able to get out of this floater target zone and like not be the target. Because I feel like they're coming for him because he voted for me, right? So
Yeah.
that's my two. I think could be at the end.
Okay, so I feel like we need to talk about the blow up in Victoria's HOH because it just felt like a lot happened in that scenario, specifically about like the East Coast. So where was your stance with Vivic? Because we saw you guys talk a little bit after the blow up. Like, what were your thought process on him and potentially
So
working with him?
yeah, so prior to that group conversation, right before that, it was Vivic and Victoria, but right before that, it was me and Vivic, and I was just talking about there's this rumor going around the house that you're saying names like no one really trusts you, like everyone's targeting you. Like, is it true or not? Like, I had your back, and I feel very disrespected. Like, if you were talking about me, blah blah blah. So we hashed it out, but it was like a really good conversation. He felt good with me. He told Victoria if he did not have a conversation with me right there, he would have said I should be put on the block too. So he literally threw out Todd and Bailey that should be put out next week. But I don't know how that interaction with Vivic and Victoria went. Like, was she intimidating him? She's HOH. Like, she has all the power right now. Was she using it a lot? I don't know. Like, how did that conversation go? I wasn't there. But in that big fight, I was just sitting back eating my sandwich.
Okay, so a surprise to the audience and something that we really did not see on our daily drops was any sort of notion that there was going to be a kiss on eviction night.
I
Blindsided, that was the blind side for us all. Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because we saw nothing.
Sure. I feel like I gotta explain to Canada because I don't know what they're showing you guys at home.
Right.
We had a good friendship, okay? And he was showing a lot of qualities and characteristics that I would like in a man. Like, he's not my original like go-to type, but he grew on me so much as a friend. And one day we just looked at each other and there was something else there. I was like, all right, so that's going in that direction. And then, he'd start to like hold my hand a little bit. We'd like lay on the couch against each other. It was like nice. And then when I knew like I'm not getting these votes, I'm probably going home tomorrow night. He was like chilling in my bed waiting for me. I lay next to him and he plants one on me when the lights dimmed a little bit. We're all still hanging out in there. Kayla is on the bed beside me. I'm like, Christ, like this sucks. But it was a good kiss. Yeah, and that was the night before I got evicted. So the whole house is like going nuts that next morning. Like what?
Yeah,
Anyway,
we were gagged. I think the digital daily drop that dropped today actually will contextualize it a little bit more. But Canada, I think I can speak for Canada when we say the girls were gagged, okay? And it was a moment and we lived. Um,
yeah.
so I wanted to ask you, now that you're out of the house, what do you really think the dynamics are? Because you only know from your perspective. So I'm interested to hear where you think the house
Yeah.
went.
So I really think there's a new alliance forming, and it's with Dennis, Vivic, Todd, and potentially Tola. If Tola's smart, he'll get away from Anthony and he'll go to this group. But there's a middle ground forming. So you have the big sisters Who knows what there actually are? Because clearly there's a new alliance in there. And then whatever Anthony has going on with Matt and Tola, but there's a new middle ground for sure, and it's Dennis's group. And I'm really happy to see that because he's been a floater for a long time. Dennis and Todd, they're like the most unlikely duo. You got to watch the dailies because they're hilarious. They're the bestest of friends, and I really hope they go far.
So I was just going to ask, if you had been able to stay, what was going to be your plan moving forward? Because I saw you talk to the cameras and you were like, I'm not going to stick with this same crew that just stabbed me in the back. You said you weren't going to go for spicy necessarily. So what was your plan if you had been able to get the votes?
Yeah, it's a tough decision. It would be like very contextual. Like, did they all vote to keep me? Then if that's the case, then we're keeping that up for now. I'll save you guys for now. But if you try to turn on me again, I'll be quicker than you and I'll get you up before me. But if it was like the other side of the house that kept me, then hell yeah, I would have worked with these guys, said, sorry, I don't know if I said screw you to the other team, and I would have taken them out. Like, how dare you try to backdoor me when I was so dedicated to this group, holding the girl alliance together. Yeah, I would have been smarter for sure.
Okay, so we have to go to our last question. It's a little game that I like to play. So
Okay.
it goes, the title is called Superlative Goes To, kind of keeping in theme with this Hollywood thing. So I'm gonna give you a superlative, and then you can pick any house guest, and you can give me a word or explain or choose not to explain. It's up to you. So the first superlative will go, who do you think is the sneakiest player?
Sneakiest? I'd say Dennis.
Okay.
But for his own benefit, as he should.
Okay, work. Exactly. I agree. Underrated player.
Underrated player? I'd say Todd. I think they all think he's an idiot, but he's very smart and he plays it up that he's an idiot, so we can get him.
Okay. Who do you think is underestimated?
Underestimated. Underestimated. Ooh. Skip. I don't want to waste your time.
Okay. Who do you think is the next player to go home?
Next player to go home could be Bailey if she's not careful because they know we were close and it only makes sense. But she could rehabilitate herself in there and do something good for herself. I hope she does not go home.
Okay. And last superlative, who do you hold responsible for your eviction?
Myself, end of the day. I take
Oh.
responsibility.
Okay,
Yes.
answer. I love that. Okay.
If I played a perfect game, I would not be here right now. And I understand I make mistakes, but that is so normal. You're playing something you've never played before. How do you expect to be perfect? But like I should have tried to put two and two together. I could not trust Spicy as much as I did. So my own fault, but I'm not mad about it. I take responsibility. Damn right. Like,
Well, you played a fun game. We loved watching you, whether it be digital dailies or on the show. So thank you so much for your time and your answers. We appreciate you. We wish you the best of luck. Do you want to plug anything before we go?
absolutely. So I have an Instagram. It's at Damn Dawns, like damn girl, like DAMN Dawns. So that's my Instagram. I also am an artist, so I have artwork by Donna on Instagram. Go follow me there.
Thank you so much. We're a silent podcast. We're anything but silent, and tune in to our next interview next week. Bye.
Silent podcast. You were pretty loud to me.
Thank you so much.